Welcome to the Bird Podcast. I'm Shobha Narayan. Today we are going to talk about the Brahminy Kite, Haliastur indus. So every time Indian elders, Hindu people, see this kite, they clasp their hands and call it Garuda. They pray to it. The question is this bird, the Garuda, an exalted bird in Indian mythology, perhaps the only one that has a whole Purana named after it, the Garuda Purana. The book that all of us use to refer to birds in ancient India is K.N. Dave's Birds in Sanskrit Literature. And in this book, he says that even as far back as the Vedas, there were several birds of prey known in ancient India, and Garuda was the progenitor, the original bird that was from which 7 birds of prey are listed in the Vedas. But the Brahminy kite is not the Garuda. Most probably, according to Dave, the bird that was the mythical Garuda was the white-bellied sea eagle, which caught serpents from the sea. And in fact, there is a story where this white-bellied sea eagle actually picks up the carcass, the skin of an elephant with a human being inside it and saved the human. So there are some images of Garuda which are shown him carrying an elephant. And there are some images of Garuda which show him carrying a turtle. These images have a link to Persia, according to this book, because in Persia, there was this mythical bird that they called Rook, which had giant wings and would carry even a baby elephant to feed its young. This sort of makes sense because the habitat of these raptors, these old world raptors, extend from as far as Iran and go all the way down to Australia, New South Wales. This is also true of the Brahminy kite. Its habitat extends all over Southeast Asia and down to Australia. But it is not the Garuda. So when your aunt or your mother prays to the Brahminy kite and calls it Garuda, you can correct them if you want. But that said, it is a sacred bird, and the story that links this bird is actually to Shiva. And the story goes thus. Shiva was once enjoying the company of beautiful ladies that were not his wife, and Parvati takes the form of a Brahminy kite and goes and shoos away all her rivals. And in this story, the Brahminy kite is called Kshemankari, which is auspicious one. The other words that are used to describe this bird link to its coloration. So there's one called Loha Pushta Kankaha. Kankaha is a bird that is used to describe many birds in Sanskrit literature, but Loha Pushta literally means maroon-backed. Loha Pushta Kankaha means maroon-backed kite. So that is this one. The other word that is used to describe this bird is called Ranakala Kankaha, which means the bird that appears on the battlefield. And it is true that this Brahminy kite, along with vultures and ravens, did appear on the battlefield, but Dave says even Musalman warriors would watch the appearance of this Brahminy kite and view it as a lucky one. So they called it Ru Mubarak, lucky-faced one. And its appearance in the battlefield gave them good news. So that's one. The other Sanskrit word linked to this kite have connections. There's a word that they use called the conch-faced one. And in fact, if you look at its white face and shoulders, it looks like a conch. The other one is Charchika, which is red and white sandalwood. Chandana Charchita means red and white sandalwood. And again, the white head and shoulders and the chestnut body. So that's, and the most beautiful one in my opinion is the word Kaghamini, which was what was used to describe this bird. And Kaghamini means literally somebody who enjoys flying in the air. So that is as far as the cultural milieu goes. Now we come to the ecology of the bird. So what is a Brahminy kite? The Brahminy kite is typically a raptor. It has a nostril on its beak. It enjoys being around water, although these days you can see it in urban landscapes that are far away from water. There are 3 interesting notes that were written by ornithologists way past. So in 1905, an Englishman who was camping near Salem said that he observed 600 Brahminy kites come to roost on a tree, terrifying the 1 or 2 crows that were there. Now, I've never seen 600 Brahminy kites roost in one tree, but this happened in 1905. And the other note was in 1990, And we link to all of this in our website. It said that this Brahminy kite was observed, the word they use is kleptoparasitism. It came and attacked a purple heron that had a fish on its beak, and it took the fish away from the purple heron. And then there's another note which talks about the Brahminy kite partnering with the Irrawaddy dolphins of Cambodia. So the dolphins would create these shoals of fish, and the kite would then swoop in and capture the fish. This is true of many birds. Ospreys do this, but the kite was referred to in this particular article. So the Brahminy kite is also known to play, and I have observed this myself. It's sort of, especially if it's with a partner, they do this fly dance, sky dancing. They fly in the sky and they dance and they throw something and then they catch it, and it's really beautiful to watch. So the other thing is about the name of the Brahminy kite. Why is it called the Brahminy kite? I thought for a while it had to do with a caste-based name. You know, anything that is ruddy, the Brahminy duck, the Brahminy starling, and the Brahminy kite, all of them have features that are red. And one suggestion was that because it has these streaks on its chest which look like the sacred thread worn by Brahmins, it was called the Brahminy kite. But the most interesting explanation was that it was not Brahminy kite. The name originated it was called the Brahminy kite, and it originated in the Brahminy kingdom, in which was housed in Badami and the Deccan, and the red soil of the Brahminy kingdom gave the name to this kite that inhabited the Brahminy kingdom. So Brahminy kite became Brahminy kite. The last thing I want to say about the Brahminy kite is that its voice. For such a magnificent bird, the Q sound it makes, it sounds like an infant wailing. So, like many birds, the voice doesn't match the stature of the bird. In one particular mythology, the Brahminy kite is considered to be the warrior of archery. And the logic was that it is able to capture grasshoppers from rice stalks, which I have not seen, but apparently it does it very delicately. It just picks up the grasshopper from the rice stalk, and so the speculation in Dave's book was that this would be the bird that is the sort of the patron saint of archery. So the next time you observe this bird, observe its movements, observe the graceful dance in the sky, and maybe you want to pray to it. I mean, even if you're an atheist, there's nothing wrong with nature worship. It's perhaps the oldest form of connection that humans created with nature. So why not? And it may bring you, it is a lucky faced one, and it may bring you luck. We want to thank MB Krishna and MB Prashant for their inputs to this episode. Bird Podcast is produced by Ullas Anand and Ecology. I'm Shobha Narayan. Thank you.